Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I am delighted to welcome a very senior and accomplished leader from the social sector from Uganda, Mr. Derick Ongeiwun. Derick, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashutosh. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Derick is the founder and executive director of Move Network International, which is a nonprofit organization to empower teenage mothers and young people to lead transformation in their lives, families, and communities. So, Derick, my first question is tell me about your own journey and what was the inspiration to start Move Network International?
Um, Thank you so much, Mr. Ashutosh. Once again, to our viewers and listeners, I am very glad to be part of this podcast and for sharing my story. So, going straight to your question, my journey basically started very close to home, actually.
Mhm.
uh, when my elder sister became a teenage mother at the age of 15 years, and I witnessed firsthand the challenges she faced: stigma, isolation,
Mhm.
financial hardship, and the emotional toll that it took on her life. And growing up in a humble background
Yeah.
with an alcoholic father,
Yeah.
I understood it early in my life, what it really meant to fight against such odds. And these experiences planted a very deep passion in me
Mm.
for creating opportunities where none seemed to exist. And I really wanted to give young people and teenage mothers a real chance to actually rebuild their lives with dignity. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And can you share a defining moment in your early life that shaped your passion for youth advocacy and social entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so for me, the defining moment was the turning point for me came when I realized that very many young people in my community, or even in Uganda as a country,
Mm.
that were failing because they lacked the ability, they lacked the social support, the moral support, and the skills they needed to actually thrive. They were failing because they lacked opportunities and guidance, and which is actually still a very huge problem in Uganda, even up to today as we are speaking right now. And so, in my teenage years, uh, personally, I didn't have those kind of support in my life.
Mhm.
I didn't have mentors. I
Mm.
didn't have people even within my own family to actually support me. I'll give you an example with just my school background. So when I entered secondary school, shortly after I had just finished like this, my parents were transferred and they moved out of the city and they went back to the village. So I had to remain in Kampala
Mhm.
and continue with high school. So all my high school years, I was staying alone. I had to figure out how to pay my tuition and get everything, and then I had to figure out how to stay, where to live, the food, how am I going to feed, and thank God I got done with that, and then university came in. I had to go back to university, and there was
Mm.
no one to support me.
Wow.
It took hard work for me. It took a lot of thinking and the help, of course, from God, and I was able to go back to university and at least secure for myself a bachelor's degree. And so I realized that so many young people actually do not have those kind of doors
Mm.
available for them. So I knew then that I had to be the bridge and to help so many young people become that bridge for them. And that conviction became the foundation for my work with Move Network International.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything that you are doing for your country and for the young people in Uganda. Uh, Tell me now about Move Network International and what is your mission?
So our mission is our mission is we want to empower young people basically to be able to lead transformation in their lives, in their families, but also in their community,
Mm,
because we realize, like I have shared before, that these young people lack this support. And so for us as Move Network, when we came into existence, we wanted to become that bridge that will give support systems to these kind of young mothers and young people that have been stigmatized, that have been neglected and rejected by the community, so
mm,
that we can help them and support them become actually people who are who can lead change and transformation in their lives and their communities. So
mm,
we do this through entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship training, and also business funding. We provide education for those girls that are still young and need to be reintegrated back into school. We provide mental health support and leadership development, and with a vision to see that young people can rise as change makers
mm.
who can uplift fellow young people.
Very well
Yeah.
said. And you know, in India, we have a very, very young population, and we often say that the young people are the future of our country. But tell me,
Yeah.
Derek, in Uganda, what are some of the biggest challenges teenage mothers face socially, economically, and emotionally?
So socially, most teenage mothers face stigma,
Hmm.
isolation, being rejected by their families and friends, and looked out as outcasts.
Hmm.
And then the other thing, economically, many of them are forced to abandon school. And to the biggest dismay is that actually comes from the families
Hmm.
within their own very families, but basically,
Yeah.
like for my sister, it is my dad, my mom who just decided, now you are grown up, you can no longer go back to school,
Okay.
so go and fend for yourself and find ways of how to take care of your baby.
Hmm.
And because that happened, she actually ended up getting pregnant again, still as a teenage mother, as a teenager. And she ended up getting two kids, two boys, still as a teenager. So she was forced out of school, and and rely on unstable income sources. And then emotionally they carry deep shame, they have
Hmm.
guilt, and unprocessed trauma, comprehensive stress. So these barriers often trap them in a cycle of poverty, hopelessness,
Hmm.
and they feel like for them life has come to an end.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But then tell me, Derek, how does the stigma impact their lives of young mothers, and how do you help them overcome it?
So stigma robs them of their confidence
Hmm.
and of their opportunities, because we all know that once someone is stigmatized, their self-esteem goes down. They will hide,
Hmm.
they will shun away, they will hide
Yeah.
from their friends, from their communities. I'll
Hmm.
give you a story of one girl,
Yeah.
actually one of the first girls that we worked with.
Hmm.
Uh, so to protect her image, I won't say her name,
No,
but
please,
this
please go ahead.
girl,
Yes.
yeah. So this girl got pregnant when she was in form three, senior three, and then she hid herself from the rest of the world. She never left home. And then when her parents chased her, she went and started staying, living with her friends. And then she hid herself. She never wanted anyone to see her.
Hmm.
So when we were told about her, we went and we met her, and we went through a process with her of counseling her, talking to her, and eventually she agreed to start moving out of home, and
Hmm.
eventually gradually she even accepted to go back to school, and we
Hmm.
supported her through that journey, and she actually finished high school.
Amazing.
Right now she is employed and she's making a very good living, and right now she's a big success story for us. So
Fantastic.
so that's so we encounter it by we counter stigma basically by
Mm,
creating safe spaces. Our support groups called the circle, where we meet like every month, and then provide mentorship and talk to these girls and help them come out of that place
mm,
where mothers basically share without judgment. And then we also equip them with the skills, so they can become financially independent, which naturally shifts how they are perceived by
mm,
their family and by their communities.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. Derek, how does trauma impact the long-term well-being of the young people you serve? And is this different in rural and urban Uganda?
So I will first say that trauma affects someone's self-worth. Yeah. It affects your decision making. When you're traumatized, you can't make the right decisions. When you're traumatized, you lack the ability
Mm,
to
mm,
trust people, because your guards have you've put your guards up, and look at human beings as a threat,
mm,
and so you want to protect yourself at all the time. And so for me, in rural areas, there is so much isolation and lack of mental health resources,
mm.
which makes it actually very worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet in urban areas like where we are operating, although the services exist, but stigma often keeps people from seeking such help.
Mm,
Yeah? So either way, untreated trauma becomes an invisible chain holding them back.
mhm,
So for us as Move Network, the approach that we have created is that we go to
mm,
them.
mm,
Yeah, we go to them. As I speak right now, for us, every single week we are within the community. At
mm,
least 2 or 3 days we are in the community,
mm,
meeting these girls, talking to them, meeting their parents, having conversations with them constantly. For those that are in school, we go and visit them in school, because we know that they will not look for us because
mm,
they feel ashamed. It is only those that have come out of that place that now look for us, and they are able to support their fellow young girls and others within the community. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Derek, you also have a trauma tapping technique and an
Yes.
evening technique. Tell me
Yeah.
how they work and how they benefit the participants.
So uh, before I tell you how they work, I'll tell you how we got to learn the technique.
Mhm,
So in in 2023, I we met a gentleman called Tony Burgess from the UK, and then also a team from Switzerland, from an organization called Peaceful Heart Network, who introduced us to both havening and trauma tapping techniques.
mhm,
So these techniques are very simple, and they are hands-on methods to help the brain process and release stress.
mm,
So you just use touch. You touch specific parts of your body, and then as you're touching them, they release electronic signals within the body that helps you calm down. But the other thing about these techniques is that they serve as first aid. They do not treat, one, they do not treat the cause
mm,
of the trauma,
mm,
yeah, but they provide a relief, a relaxation at that moment if someone is really highly stressed, or their trauma is really great.
mm,
Because for me, it helped me to get to deal with my trauma. And so when I used it and it helped me to deal with my trauma, so I decided to introduce it to the teenage mothers and
mhm.
see how we can use it
Yeah.
to actually support them. Yeah. So so trauma tapping uses gentle tapping on acupressure points, like hands, fingers, the
Mhm,
face, and then the chest. And then while heaven involves soothing touches on your arms, yeah, and then on your face, and
mm,
then patting on your shoulders. So this hand combined with positive energy,
mm,
they help participants feel a lot calmer, reduce anxiety, and regain a sense of safety in their own bodies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us more about your financial empowerment programs. What kind of skills and tools do the participants gain?
So um, right now, because we lack the resources to do it alone as an organization,
Mm,
so what we have done is we, we as an organization we train our participants
mm,
from Move Network International, train them in entrepreneurship and financial literacy.
mm,
Yeah. But then when it comes to practical skills, we have partnered with an organization that is within the same area that we are in,
mm,
where we pay them some little money, and then we enroll these girls and they go and learn certain skills like tailoring, hairdressing, mechanical engineering,
mm,
baking, filmmaking, and photography. So when these girls learn these skills, for us, we if the finances are available, we provide them with micro loans to
mm,
go and start small scale businesses. And then for some girls, we help them find reasonable jobs.
mm.
Yeah. Help them find reasonable jobs that can pay them some money so that they are able to fend for to take care
Yeah.
of their families,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. So that is how we are helping them to grow financially. We
Mm,
do it mostly through the support of the partners that
yeah.
we are working with.
Absolutely.
Because as Move Network International, we don't have the resources to actually do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Understandable. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how do
Yes.
you tailor your educational and skills development programs to be both relevant and sustainable?
So the first thing when I'm answering that question, I will say that one, we start by listening to them.
Mm,
Yeah, because that's a very important step.
yeah.
Very, very important. Like through the circle program that I
Mm,
shared earlier.
mm,
So we have these guys. We sit with them. We listen to them. We hear their stories. So after listening to them and understanding the needs of each of these girls and their communities, then we teach them the skills that are marketable, but not just marketable, but the skills that they are passionate in, because we want their passion to drive whatever thing that it is that they are doing.
mm,
And in that area, we also provide mentorship to ensure that there is long-term success. So
mm,
some sustainability for us comes from creating local networks of support,
mhm,
because we have mentors who are working with them. We are working with their local leaders. We are working with their parents and gate
mm,
and
mm,
guardians. So all these participants, all these different stakeholders that come and join in just helping this one girl becomes very big, that they are now inspired. It brings out the hopelessness that is in them.
mm,
It builds them emotionally and they become resilient. And so these participants become very independent and, and very motivated towards actually building their life.
mm. Very interesting. And how do you empower the youth to become leaders and change makers in their own right? And if possible, give me an example. I don't want any names, of course.
Okay, so thank you so much. So one is that we involve our girls in decision making.
Mhm.
Yeah, we involve our girls in decision making. We train them in leadership,
Mm,
and we give them platforms to lead
mm,
initiatives.
mm,
Like for example, in our system, we have a leadership committee for the girls,
mhm,
and that leadership committee has all these girls that we are training to become actual leaders. Yeah, and they are leading their fellow girls. So
mm,
in case there is anything that is happening within their community, around their fellow girls, and we are not available, they follow it up, and then for us they just give us feedback.
Mm.
Yeah. So we have a number of them that are within the leadership committee that are helping us as the administration, but also directly helping their fellow teenage mothers. Yeah.
Mm.
So, and then the other thing is that we give them exposures. So we involve them in trainings that are outside Move Network International, and then there are certain organizations maybe that organize hangouts, networking programs, and stuff like that. So we invite them to such spaces
Mm.
where they are able to meet people that have moved a certain level beyond them, and they're able to have conversations, discuss, and it builds them emotionally, it builds their self-esteem, it builds their self-worth, and they know that actually they can also exist in such kind of spheres.
Mm.
One of the things that this month we have actually started to do is that for those girls, a few of the girls that are within our leadership team, we have asked them to enroll for online digital courses,
Mhm.
yeah, so that they can expand
Mm.
their minds beyond just skills like tailoring
Yeah.
and hairdressing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they can acquire certain skills be that can offer them global market and global exposure.
Mm.
Yeah, so that is what we are doing
Wonderful.
basically, and
Wonderful.
we believe that also that through our mentorships that we are providing, it
Mm.
will
Amazing.
absolutely expand on their horizons. Yeah.
Fantastic. How important is collaboration with local and international organizations for you?
Personally, I believe collaboration is critical, is very, very important.
Mhm.
And one, it brings resources, it brings knowledge,
Mm.
and it grows our networks. Uh, and so and so it helps us to achieve things that we could never achieve on
Mm.
our own.
Mm.
Like I have given you an example of the organization that we work with that is able to provide practical skills to these
Yeah.
girls, which we cannot do alone. And then Peaceful Heart Network that I talked about, that is in Sweden, that we are working with to provide emotional resilience, mental health care to these teenage
Mm.
mothers through
Mm.
havening and trauma tapping. So it is really, really very important that we work with these organizations,
Right.
and we are looking forward to even expanding our partnership, our
Mm.
networks
Mm.
with so many other organizations that can help us put our resources together for the betterment of these girls.
Mm. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, from a personal perspective, what has been the most emotional or fulfilling moment in your journey with Move Network?
um for me, I think it is one of our girls. There are so many. There are
Mm-hmm.
so many. But let,
I'm sure. I'm
let,
sure.
let- let me pick, let
Yeah.
me pick one or two.
Yeah.
There is a young girl that we met. She had given birth as a teenager, and she had two kids. And she was an orphan. And then the man that impregnated her disappeared from her life.
Oh God.
And so she was struggling and living in a swamp in a house that whenever it rained, it would flood.
Mm.
And so when we brought her in and then put her through the process of mentorship, and we trained her, she went ahead and learned uh, a skill of hair braiding.
Mm.
And right now, as we speak, she does freelance work within different salons, braiding hair.
Mm.
But we have also provided her with a micro loan to start her own business, which has tremendously grown.
Mm.
Her capital has grown, and right now she is able to take care of her two babies, and they are all in school. as we speak right
Fantastic.
now.
Fantastic.
Unfortunately, the emotional bit for it is that one of her babies is sickler, and he falls sick a lot.
Hmm.
But good thing is that as Move Network International, we offer them with some medical care.
Hmm.
We have partnered with a clinic, a local clinic, where the girls, whenever they have a medical emergency, they go and they get treatment. And when they get treatment for us at the end of the month, they give us the bill and then we are able to pay. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then maybe the second one and the last one that I can talk about is another young girl
Mhm.
who who when she got pregnant during lockdown during the COVID
Hmm.
pandemic, and so she always wanted to go back to school,
Mhm.
and her parents couldn't afford.
Hmm.
But also it trickled down to the mindset that her parents had, that she can no longer actually go back to school. And when we supported her through the process. And right now, this is
Hmm.
her second year now in school. And because of her going back to school, right now,
Hmm.
her fellow girls, her fellow peers,
Hmm.
also have been inspired to actually go back to school. And for us, that is heartwarming. It is we see that there is impact that
Hmm.
is being created basically. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have time for two more questions. In India, we've
Mhm.
often said that when you educate a girl, you educate a family.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, have you seen any intergenerational change or transformation in families because of the work? You support the young teenage girls,
Mhm.
and then their parents must be beginning to realize that, there's a lot that they can also do. So are you beginning to
Yes.
see parents also changing because of the work you're doing with girls?
Absolutely. 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 For the two stories that I have given
Mm,
you,
mm, mm.
three generations have been transformed:
Fantastic.
the parent, the girl, and their babies.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Because, like, for example, for the girl that we sent back to school, initially the parent had said, no, we cannot take there, we cannot, we
Mm,
don't want anything to do with the girl.
mm,
We, we, we don't even have the money to send her back to school.
mm,
Yeah. So when we sent her back to school for the first two terms, the other time we told her, you know what, we talked to the man and we told her we are going to pay up to this amount, and
mm,
then the rest of the amount you are going to pay. And she
mm.
was willing.
Right.
And she was willing. And yet initially she had said she cannot do it. And then we realized that also when we as an organization delay to pay her school fees,
Hmm.
she goes ahead and she pays full tuition. And
Amazing.
then for us, we just give her a refund.
How
So that is
wonderful.
a very big mindset change, a
Hmm,
very big transformation. And she loves her daughter very much right now, and she is willing to support her all the way throughout the process. The
hmm,
girl has a dream of becoming a doctor, and we
hmm.
want to support her in that journey, and the parents are on board
How
with
wonderful.
that. And then we have seen that even their babies now have a better life, because
Hmm,
one, they can provide for them. There is a better child care and support system that has been built.
hmm,
So honestly, we've seen children of teenage mothers uh, uh, become living a better lifestyle.
hmm.
Yeah, because of
Fantastic.
this work that we are doing. So absolutely,
Absolutely.
there
Wonderful.
is there is change. Yeah.
Wonderful. And my last question for you, Derek.
Mhm.
A lot of people will see our conversation. If someone wants to reach out to you and support you, how should they do it?
So right now we have our website
Hmm.
that is on. It's www.moveinternational.org. Um, there's more of our information up there, but also we have an account, a bank account that I don't know if
You
we
shouldn't
can
give those
share.
details, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
you've given the website
Yes.
www.moveinternational.org.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
if
all
anyone is
our
interested.
information is
Yeah,
on there. Yeah,
yeah,
all our information is on there, and so they can reach out to us.
correct.
They can reach out to us, and then we can always
Have a further
have a
discussion.
conversation. Yes,
Wonderful.
but also the other thing, they can help us to donate. Maybe because right now we want to formalize our child care system.
Mm-hmm.
We want to start up a daycare center where
Mm-hmm.
we can professionally take care of the children of the teenage mothers, so that the mothers are given
Mm-hmm.
enough time to go and learn skills, to work, to study, and better themselves without worrying how my kid is. And we have also seen that most of them have been hindered from actually taking on some of the roles because there is no one to take care of their
Mm-hmm.
babies. So we want to
Correct.
start a daycare center that can help the babies of the teenage mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that would
Yeah,
be of really, really
absolutely.
great help.
Absolutely. But on
Yeah,
that note,
but
Derek, I just want to
yeah,
say, I think what an amazing amount of work that you are doing. Thank you for
thank you.
doing such amazing work for a lot of these young girls. I think your
Mhm.
support will go a long way in helping them. And I'm sure you must be a
Mhm.
person receiving blessings, not just from the girls,
And
but
you-
also from the parents as well.
oh
Thank you for
yes,
speaking to me and
yeah.
good luck to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Ashutosh. I am very glad that I've been part of this conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the brand called You.